Commander Velnak studied the holographic display floating above his command console. The blue light showed a detailed map of the human frontier world called Kepler 442c. His 6 eyes focused on a small cluster of buildings nestled in a mountain valley. The structures looked temporary and weak. "Perfect," he whispered through his mandibles. The Kethtar had been watching human space for months. Their scouts had mapped dozens of worlds looking for the right target. They needed something soft for their first attack, something that would break human spirit without costing too many Kethtar lives. This outpost looked ideal. "What do we know about this location?" Velnax asked his intelligence officer. Sub-Commander Gextal consulted his datapad. His claws clicked against the screen as he scrolled through information. "The humans call it Research Station Echo 7. Our long-range scans show basic energy shields and minimal weapons. We detect about 200 human life signs." "Excellent. What are they researching?" "Xenobiology, according to their communications we intercepted. They study alien plant and animal life. The facility appears to be run by scientists, not soldiers." Velnax's mandibles clicked with satisfaction. Scientists would be easy prey. They would surrender quickly when faced with superior Kethtar military power. The captured humans would provide valuable intelligence about Earth's defenses. "Security forces?" he asked. "Minimal. Perhaps 20 guards at most. They carry basic human firearms, nothing that can threaten our armor or ships." The commander walked to the large viewing window of his battle cruiser. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions. Soon those stars would belong to the Kethtar Dominion. But first, they needed to test human resolve. "Show me the tactical analysis," Velnax ordered. The hologram shifted, displaying attack patterns and defensive positions. The human outpost sat in a valley surrounded by mountains. There was only one main road leading in and out. The buildings were scattered across the valley floor, connected by simple paths. "The location works in our favor," Gextal explained. "The mountains will prevent them from escaping. Our dropships can land here, here, and here." Red dots appeared on the map. "We can surround them completely." "What about their communications?" "We can jam all signals once we enter orbit. They will not be able to call for help." Velnax nodded. The plan was simple and effective. Orbital bombardment would destroy their main defenses. Then ground forces would move in to capture prisoners and valuable research data. The entire operation would take less than 6 hours. "Prepare the fleet," he commanded. 3 heavy cruisers, 12 dropships, and 800 warriors. We will not need more than that." "Yes, Commander. When do we attack?" "Tomorrow at dawn, their time." As his officers rushed to prepare, Velnax remained at the viewing window. He thought about the glory this victory would bring. The High Command would promote him for successfully opening the war against humanity. Future generations of Kethtar would remember his name. The humans had no idea what was coming. Far below, on Kepler 442c, the sun was setting over the mountain valley. The buildings of Research Station Echo 7 looked peaceful in the fading light. Smoke rose from what appeared to be cooking fires. Humans moved between the structures, going about their daily routines. Velnax watched through his ship's powerful telescopes. The humans seemed so fragile. They walked upright on just 2 legs. They had no natural armor or claws. Their technology appeared primitive compared to Kethtar engineering. "Sir," Gextal interrupted his thoughts, "we have completed our final scans of the target. There is something unusual." "Explain." "The humans have been very active today. More movement than usual. They appear to be conducting some kind of exercise." Velnax turned from the window. "What kind of exercise?" "Unknown. We detected small explosions in the mountains around the facility. Perhaps they are testing mining equipment." "Or training their guards," the commander suggested. "It does not matter. Guards or miners, they will all surrender when they see our superior firepower." Gextal nodded, but he looked uncertain. Sir, should we wait and observe longer? Learn more about their activities? No, we have observed enough. The longer we wait, the greater the chance they will detect our presence. We attack at dawn as planned. The sub-commander bowed his head in submission. Yes, sir. That night, Velnax reviewed the attack plan one final time. Everything looked perfect. His warriors would approach in 3 waves. The first wave would eliminate any heavy weapons. The second would surround the facility. The third would move in for capture operations. He imagined the frightened faces of human scientists when Keth-Tar warriors burst through their doors. They would beg for mercy. Some would try to hide their research data. Others would offer to cooperate in exchange for their lives. All would learn that resistance was useless. The commander retired to his quarters feeling confident. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of humanity's end. The Keth-Tar Dominion would expand across the galaxy, and it would all start with this small, defenseless outpost. As he slept, Velnax dreamed of victory parades on the Keth-Tar homeworld. The High Command would praise his tactical brilliance. History books would record how he struck the first blow against the humans. He had no way of knowing that far below, in the mountains of Kepler 442c, 200 of Earth's most dangerous soldiers were settling down for the night. They had spent the day practicing urban warfare, mountain combat, and equipment testing. Tomorrow was the final day of their annual training exercise. They called it Iron Crucible, and it brought together the best warriors from a dozen different Earth military units: Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, British Special Air Service, Russian Spetsnaz, and the elite Solar Marine Expeditionary Force. These were not scientists. They were not helpless researchers studying alien plants. They were predators who had spent 3 days learning to hunt in this exact terrain. And they were about to discover that sometimes the universe provides the most realistic training scenarios when you least expect them. The first plasma bolt struck at exactly 4 a.m. local time. Velnax watched from his command ship as bright green energy beams lanced down from orbit. They targeted what his sensors identified as the main research buildings. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers across the valley floor. Direct hits on primary structures, reported his weapons officer. Energy signatures show successful penetration of their shields. Excellent. Deploy the dropships. 12 Keth-Tar assault craft detached from the cruiser fleet. They screamed through the atmosphere toward the smoking valley below. Each carried 60 heavily armed warriors ready for ground combat. Velnax expected to see humans running in panic. He expected desperate radio calls for help. He expected chaos and surrender. Instead, he got something entirely different. Sir, the sensor operator's voice cracked with confusion. The humans are not behaving as predicted. Explain. They are not fleeing. They are moving toward defensive positions with military precision. And, sir, they appear to have been expecting us. On the main display, thermal imaging showed human figures moving with practiced efficiency. Instead of running away from the explosions, they were running toward prepared fighting positions that had not shown up on any previous scans. Impossible, Velnax muttered. Our intelligence clearly showed this was a research facility. As he spoke, the valley floor erupted with new activity. Camouflaged bunkers rose from what had appeared to be empty ground. Hidden weapon emplacements swiveled toward the incoming dropships. The entire landscape seemed to transform from peaceful research station to fortress. "Multiple missile launches detected!" shouted the tactical officer. "The humans have surface-to-air weapons!" The first dropship exploded in a ball of fire. Then the second. Anti-aircraft missiles streaked up from concealed positions throughout the valley. What should have been an easy landing became a gauntlet of death. "Evasive maneuvers," Velnax ordered, but it was too late for half his assault force. 6 dropships managed to land, disgorging their warriors onto the valley floor. The Keth-Tar troops advanced in standard formation, expecting to face panicked civilians with hunting rifles. Instead, they met disciplined gunfire from entrenched positions. Contact! Contact! The voice of Ground Commander Thexnell crackled over the communications channel. These are not researchers. Repeat, these are not researchers. What do you mean? Velnax demanded. They are soldiers, professional military. They know our approach routes somehow. Through the tactical display, Velnax watched his ground forces stumble into a nightmare. The humans had turned the entire valley into a killing field. Every rock, every tree, every building seemed to hide a waiting enemy. A squad of Kethtar warriors advanced on what appeared to be a damaged research building. As they approached, explosions erupted from the mountainside above them. Tons of rock cascaded down, crushing the entire squad. The avalanche had been triggered by precisely placed charges. How did they know where to place the explosives? Gextal whispered. Another group of warriors found themselves pinned down by sniper fire from multiple directions. The humans moved through the terrain like ghosts, appearing just long enough to strike before vanishing again. Sir, we are receiving human communications, the signals officer reported. Should I play them? Yes. Static filled the command bridge before clearing into human voices speaking in their strange language. The translation software worked to convert the words. Bravo, team. This is Alpha Leader. Unknown hostiles have entered our training area, switching to live fire protocols. Copy that, Alpha. Foxtrot Squad has eyes on enemy armor, requesting permission to test new anti-tank charges. Permission granted. All units, treat this as advanced training scenario. Unknown technology assessment protocols are now in effect. Velnax felt his blood run cold. Training scenario? They thought this was an exercise? Charlie team to command, another voice crackled. These aliens have interesting equipment. Can we capture some for testing? Affirmative, Charlie. Capture protocols authorized. Try not to damage the good stuff. The commander watched in growing horror as his professional military operation dissolved into chaos. His warriors, trained for conquering primitive worlds, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn by humans who seemed to know the terrain better than they knew their own ships. Ground Commander Thexnall, report status. Sir, we are taking heavy casualties. The humans are using tactics not in our database. They appear to be multiple units working together with perfect coordination. Multiple units? Yes, sir. We have identified at least 5 different human military organizations. They have different equipment and methods, but they are cooperating like they have trained together for years. Through his viewing scope, Velnax watched a group of humans dressed in white winter camouflage appear from nowhere behind one of his squads. The Kethtar warriors never saw them coming. When the brief firefight ended, the aliens' weapons had been stripped and their communication equipment captured. Sir, the signals officer sounded panicked. The humans are using our own communication frequencies against us. They are sending false orders to our ground troops. How is that possible? Unknown! They must have captured our equipment and decoded it in minutes. Another dropship exploded as it tried to land reinforcements. The humans had somehow moved anti-aircraft weapons to new positions, creating overlapping fields of fire that made landing impossible. Delta Force to all units, came another human transmission. New scenario parameters confirmed. Unknown alien tech assessment exercise is go. Repeat, this is not a drill. Velnax finally understood. These were not scientists. This was not a research station. His perfect soft target was actually a military training facility filled with elite human soldiers, and they thought his invasion was their training exercise. Sir, what are your orders? Gexnall asked. The commander stared at the tactical display showing his forces being systematically destroyed by humans who were treating the battle like practice. Half his dropships were gone. His ground troops were scattered and confused. The humans controlled the battlefield completely. Prepare for tactical withdrawal, he said quietly. Sir, you heard me. Pull our remaining forces back. This is not what we expected. As Kethtar warriors tried to retreat to their landing zones, the humans pursued them with frightening efficiency. They moved through the mountains like they owned them. Every path, every hiding spot, every advantage the aliens tried to use had already been anticipated. "Sir, Ground Commander Thexnal is requesting immediate extraction." "Grant it. Get our people out of there." The surviving dropships dove toward the valley, engines screaming as they tried to rescue the remaining ground troops. Human missiles reached up to meet them like deadly fingers. As his fleet prepared to flee, Velnax received one final human transmission that would haunt him for the rest of his life. "Command, this is Exercise Control. Unknown hostiles are withdrawing. Recommend extending Iron Crucible by 24 hours to complete assessment of captured alien technology." The response came immediately. "Approved. All units continue training evolution with new parameters. Good work, people." The Kethtar fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind burning wreckage and the growing realization that they had just attacked the worst possible target in all of human space. They had attacked Earth's elite soldiers during training, and the humans thought it was just another day at the office. Lieutenant Sarah Chen pressed herself against the cold mountain rock and studied the alien patrol below. 6 Kethtar warriors moved through the narrow canyon, their purple armor gleaming in the morning sun. They thought they were hunting humans. They were wrong. "Rangers, this is Chen," she whispered into her throat microphone. "I have eyes on target. 6 hostiles moving through Sector 7. "Copy that, Lieutenant," came the reply from Sergeant Rodriguez. "Spetsnaz team reports they have flanking positions ready." Sarah smiled grimly. 20 minutes ago, these aliens had been the attackers. Now they were prey wandering into a trap designed by some of Earth's most dangerous soldiers. The Iron Crucible exercise had brought together military units that rarely worked side by side. Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, British SAS, Russian Spetsnaz, and the new Solar Marines. They had spent 3 days competing against each other in mock battles. Now they hunted together. "British team in position," crackled another voice with a crisp accent. "Major Crawford here. We have overwatch on the exit route." "Excellent," Sarah replied. "Marines?" "Solar Marine Expeditionary Force ready," came a deeper voice. "Captain Morrison here. We have the heavy weapons if you need them." The alien patrol moved deeper into the canyon. They held their weapons ready, but they were scanning for human positions that no longer existed. The soldiers had abandoned their original defensive positions within minutes of the attack. Now they owned the entire mountain range. "Spetsnaz moving," reported Captain Viktor Petrov in accented English. "We take the rear too." Sarah watched as 2 figures in winter camouflage appeared behind the alien patrol like ghosts. The Spetsnaz were masters of silent movement. The last 2 Kethtar warriors simply vanished without a sound. "Rear clear," Petrov reported. 4 remaining. "Rangers, execute," Sarah ordered. She and Rodriguez appeared on opposite sides of the canyon. Their weapons were aimed not to kill, but to disable. The training exercise called for equipment capture and technology assessment. Dead aliens could not provide information. The firefight lasted exactly 47 seconds. When it ended, 4 Kethtar warriors lay unconscious on the canyon floor. Their weapons and communication equipment had been carefully removed. Their armor showed only minor damage. "Nice work, people," Major Crawford observed as his SAS team descended from the canyon walls. "These alien weapons are quite interesting." Captain Morrison and his Solar Marines arrived to help secure the prisoners. "Command wants us to test their equipment," he said. "See how it works, how it breaks, what makes it tick." "Already on it," Rodriguez replied, examining an alien rifle. "This power cell is fascinating. The energy output is impressive, but the design is inefficient." Sarah found herself impressed by how quickly her fellow soldiers adapted. 30 minutes ago, none of them had seen alien technology. Now they were discussing its capabilities like equipment specialists. Chen, this is Command, came a voice over the radio. Report status. 6 hostiles captured in Sector 7. Equipment secured for assessment. No friendly casualties. Outstanding. Be advised, we have multiple alien units scattered throughout the operational area. Continue hunt and capture operations. Understood, Command. As they prepared to move to the next target, Sarah noticed something that made her proud. Rangers, SEALs, SAS, Spetsnaz, and Marines were working together like they had trained for years. The competition between units had vanished the moment real enemies appeared. Where to next? Morrison asked. Petrov consulted a captured alien communication device. His technical background had helped him decode their basic frequencies. I am hearing chatter from grid reference 47. Sounds like 12 hostiles trying to establish defensive position. 12? Crawford raised an eyebrow. Bit much for one squad. Not if we coordinate properly, Sarah suggested. Rangers and Marines take the frontal approach. SEALs hit them from the water side. SAS provides overwatch. Spetsnaz cuts off their retreat. Sounds like a plan, Morrison agreed. But let's make it interesting. How so? Exercise parameters call for equipment testing under field conditions. What if we try out some of their captured weapons? Sarah grinned. I like the way you think, Captain. An hour later, the combined human force had surrounded 12 Kethtar warriors who had taken shelter in an abandoned mining facility. The aliens thought they had found a defensible position. They had actually walked into a killing box. This is fascinating, Crawford observed as he tested an alien sniper rifle. The targeting system is quite sophisticated. Watch this. His shot disabled the alien commander's weapon without harming the warrior holding it. The precision was remarkable. Not bad for alien tech, Rodriguez commented as he fired an alien grenade launcher. The explosion was perfectly controlled, stunning 3 Kethtar soldiers without serious injury. The battle was completely one-sided. The aliens had superior individual weapons, but they lacked the teamwork and terrain knowledge that made the human units so effective. Spetsnaz to all units, Petrov reported. Retreat route is blocked. 3 more prisoners secured. SEALs here, came another voice. Water approach successful. 4 hostiles down and breathing. Within 20 minutes, all 12 Kethtar warriors were unconscious and secured. Their equipment had been carefully cataloged and distributed among the human teams for testing. You know what I find interesting? Morrison asked as they prepared the prisoners for transport. What's that? These aliens are professional soldiers. Good equipment, decent training, solid tactical doctrine. But they fight like they expect to win through superior firepower alone. Sarah nodded. They don't seem to understand improvisation. When their plan stops working, they just keep following it anyway. Different military philosophy, Crawford observed. They appear to prefer overwhelming force to adaptive tactics. Petrov examined an alien communication headset. Their command structure is very rigid. Orders come from above. No initiative allowed at squad level. That explains why they were so easy to confuse with false communications, Rodriguez added. As they moved through the mountains hunting for more alien units, Sarah reflected on what they were learning. These Kethtar were not primitive. Their technology was advanced, their weapons effective, their armor impressive, but they had no idea how to fight humans who treated warfare like a deadly art form. Chen, this is Command, the radio crackled. Report. 18 aliens captured so far. Multiple weapon systems tested and analyzed. We have decoded their basic communication protocols. Excellent work. Continue operations. Intelligence wants to know everything about their capabilities. Understood. What's our time limit? Take as long as you need. This is the best training opportunity we've ever had. Sarah smiled as she led her mixed unit toward the next alien position. Above them, alien ships still circled the planet, trying to figure out what had gone wrong with their perfect plan. Below, Earth's elite soldiers continued their education in extraterrestrial warfare. They were learning that humans had one advantage their instructors never mentioned in any training manual. When humans went to war, they did not just fight to win, they fought to learn. And they were very quick students. The aliens were about to discover that attacking a human military training exercise was like interrupting a university examination. The students were highly motivated to complete their education, and the final exam was going to be brutal. Commander Velnax stared at the tactical display in growing horror. Red dots marked the last known positions of his ground forces. One by one, they were going dark. "Sir, we have lost contact with squads 7, 9, and 12, reported Sub-Commander Gextal. His voice carried a tremor that Velnax had never heard before. "That brings our total losses to 2/3 of the ground force." "What about Squad 15? They were supposed to establish overwatch on the northern ridge." "No response for 37 minutes, sir. Their last transmission was unusual." "Play it." The bridge speakers crackled with static. Then the voice of squad leader Dexmore filled the air. "Command, we are under attack by... I do not know how to describe this. The humans appear from nowhere. They move like spirits. They seem to know our positions before we take them. I think they are using our own..." The transmission cut to static. "That was all we received, sir." Velnax turned to his intelligence officer. "What is your assessment?" Gextal consulted his datapad with shaking claws. "Sir, I believe we have made a catastrophic error in target identification." "Explain." "Our intercepted human communications indicate this is not a research facility. The humans refer to something called Iron Crucible. Cross-referencing with our database of human military terminology suggests this is an advanced training exercise." The commander felt his internal temperature drop. "Training for what?" "Elite military units, sir. The communications mention Rangers, SEALs, SAS, Spetsnaz, and Solar Marines. These are designations for Earth's most dangerous special forces." "How many of them are there?" "Unknown, but based on communication patterns, we estimate 200 highly trained soldiers from at least 5 different Earth military organizations." Velnax slumped in his command chair. The perfect soft target had been anything but soft. They had attacked a gathering of Earth's deadliest warriors during a live training exercise. "Sir, incoming transmission from Ground Commander Thexanol. Put him through." The voice that came over the speakers was filled with panic. Command, request immediate extraction. We are not fighting researchers. These humans are professional soldiers. They know every meter of this terrain. They have turned our own weapons against us." "Calm yourself, Commander. Report your status." "Status? Sir, my force is destroyed. I have 12 warriors left out of 60. The humans captured the rest. They are not killing us, they are studying us. They take our equipment apart like children examining toys." The transmission continued with the sound of weapons fire in the background. "They talk about us like we are some kind of training exercise. I heard one of them say, 'Command wants to test alien armor against standard ammunition. They are using us for research.'" The connection went dead. Velnax turned to his communication officer. "Can we reach any other ground units?" "Only 2 squads respond, sir. Both report heavy human activity and request permission to withdraw." "Granted. Pull everyone back to the landing zones." As he gave the order, Velnax realized something that made his blood freeze. He activated his personal communication system and contacted his fleet intelligence analysis team. "I need you to review all intercepted human communications immediately. Focus on tactical terminology and operational procedures." "Yes, sir. What specifically should we look for?" "I want to know if this is their normal military response or something else." 20 minutes later, the intelligence team reported back with information that confirmed his worst fears. "Sir, the humans are not treating this as a life-or-death battle. They are treating it as an educational opportunity. What do you mean? Their communications indicate this is a routine training exercise that has been modified to include unknown alien technology assessment. They refer to our attack as Realistic Op 4 and discuss live fire training protocols. Velnax closed his eyes. They think we are part of their exercise. Yes, sir. We have intercepted multiple transmissions where human commanders discuss extending the exercise timeline to allow for comprehensive alien equipment testing. Play the most recent intercept. The speakers came alive with human voices. Command, this is Major Crawford, SAS. We have successfully tested 17 different alien weapon systems. Recommend capturing more equipment for detailed analysis. Copy that, Major. How are the alien tactics? Predictable, sir. They rely too heavily on superior firepower and do not adapt well to changing conditions. Good training value for our people, but nothing our doctrine cannot handle. Outstanding. Continue operations. Intel wants a complete assessment of their capabilities. Will do, sir. The lads are enjoying the challenge. The transmission ended, leaving the Kethtar bridge in stunned silence. Sir, whispered Gextal, they called our tactics predictable. Velnax stood and walked to the main viewing screen. Below, the planet's surface showed scattered explosions and weapons fire. His carefully planned invasion had become a human training exercise. Analysis team, I need more information about this Iron Crucible exercise. Sir, based on communication intercepts, this appears to be an annual event where Earth's elite military units compete against each other in realistic combat scenarios. The purpose is to test new equipment, share tactical knowledge, and maintain combat readiness. How often do they conduct such exercises? Multiple times per year, sir, in different locations throughout human space. The commander realized the full scope of their mistake. They had not attacked a vulnerable research outpost. They had interrupted a gathering of Earth's most experienced killers during their annual warrior competition. Sir, we are receiving a priority message from the Kethtar High Command. Put it through. The holographic image of Supreme Commander Thalvex appeared on the bridge. His expression was stern as he addressed Velnax directly. Commander, we have been monitoring your operation. What is your status? Sir, the mission has encountered unexpected resistance. The target was misidentified. Explain. Supreme Commander, this was not a research facility. We have attacked an elite human military training exercise. The resistance is from professional soldiers, not civilian scientists. The silence stretched for long seconds before Thalvex responded. Are you telling me that our opening strike against humanity was against their military during training? Yes, sir. They have turned our attack into part of their exercise. They are using it to test our technology and study our tactics. How many humans? Approximately 200 elite soldiers from multiple Earth Special Forces units. And your casualties? Velnax hesitated. 70% ground casualties, sir. 6 dropships destroyed. Multiple weapons and communication systems captured by the enemy. What is the human casualty count? Unknown, sir. Possibly 0. The Supreme Commander's expression darkened. You are telling me that 200 human soldiers have destroyed a Kethtar assault force of 800 warriors? Yes, sir. And they think this is training? Yes, sir. Thalvex was quiet for a full minute before speaking again. Commander Velnax, you will withdraw immediately. You will compile a complete report on human military capabilities, and you will recommend whether we should proceed with the invasion plan. Yes, Supreme Commander. As the transmission ended, Velnax realized that everything had changed. The Kethtar had entered this war believing humans were a weak species ripe for conquest. Now he understood that they had just revealed their capabilities to Earth's finest warriors during a live training exercise. The humans knew how Kethtar fought. They had captured Kethtar technology. They had studied Kethtar tactics, and they had done it all while treating the battle as an interesting learning opportunity. "Prepare the fleet for immediate withdrawal," he ordered. "Yes, sir. What about our people still on the surface?" Velnax looked at the tactical display one final time. The red dots representing his forces continued to disappear as human soldiers methodically captured his remaining troops. "Leave them," he said quietly. "They are prisoners of war now, and I suspect the humans will learn everything they want to know from them." As the Kethtar fleet prepared to flee, Velnax realized that he was no longer just retreating from a failed battle. He was running from a species that treated warfare like science. And they had just been handed a very interesting test subject. Major James Crawford sat in the makeshift briefing room and watched the last Kethtar dropship disappear into the sky. The aliens were retreating, leaving behind scattered equipment and 63 prisoners. "Well," he said to the assembled officers, "that was unexpected." Around the table sat representatives from every unit that had participated in Iron Crucible. Lieutenant Sarah Chen represented the Army Rangers. Captain Viktor Petrov spoke for the Russian Spetsnaz. Captain Morrison commanded the Solar Marines. Navy SEAL Commander Jackson had flown in from the coast. They all looked remarkably calm for people who had just fought humanity's first alien war. "After-action review time," Crawford announced. "Chen, what's your assessment?" Sarah consulted her notes. "Professional soldiers with good equipment but rigid tactics. They relied heavily on superior firepower and expected us to fight conventionally. When we adapted, they couldn't keep up." "Petrov?" The Russian captain leaned back in his chair. "Interesting technology, but their communication security is poor. I was reading their transmissions within 30 minutes. Their command structure does not allow for independent thinking at squad level." "Morrison?" The Marine officer shook his head. "Honestly, I expected more from our first alien contact. Their weapons are impressive, but their battlefield awareness is lacking. They fight like they expect to win through intimidation alone." Commander Jackson spoke up. "From a tactical perspective, they made several critical errors. First, they assumed this was a soft target without proper reconnaissance. Second, they failed to adapt when their initial intelligence proved wrong. Third, they underestimated human coordination capabilities." Crawford nodded and made notes on his data pad. "Overall assessment, the aliens pose a potential threat due to superior individual weapons technology. But their tactical doctrine is inflexible and predictable." "What about their retreating ships?" Chen asked. "Let them go. We got what we needed." At that moment, Colonel Harrison entered the room. He was the overall commander of Iron Crucible and looked like a man trying not to smile. "Ladies and gentlemen, I've just finished briefing Earth Command on our unexpected visitors. They want a full technical assessment of captured equipment and complete interrogation reports from the prisoners." "How long do we have?" Morrison asked. "Take your time. High Command has officially extended Iron Crucible by 72 hours to accommodate realistic alien warfare assessment protocols." Crawford raised an eyebrow. "They're treating this as part of the exercise?" "Officially, yes. Unofficially, every military research facility on Earth wants to examine what you captured. The xenobiology teams are particularly excited about the prisoner medical data." "What about the aliens? Do we know anything about their intentions?" Colonel Harrison activated the room's holographic display. "Intelligence believes this was a probing attack. They wanted to test human military response before committing to a larger invasion." "And instead they found us," Petrov observed. "Exactly. We intercepted some of their final transmissions before they retreated. Their commander filed a report recommending immediate reclassification of humanity from easy conquest to existential threat." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "So what happens now?" Chen asked. "Now, we learn everything we can from what they left behind. Then we prepare for the next time they visit." Crawford stood and walked to the window overlooking the valley. Smoke still rose from a dozen impact sites, but the landscape was already returning to normal. Human engineering crews were dismantling alien equipment for transport to research facilities. "You know what I find most interesting about this whole situation?" he said. "What's that?" Morrison asked. "They attacked us during Iron Crucible. Of all the times and places they could have chosen, they picked the one moment when Earth's best soldiers were gathered together for training." "Lucky for us," Jackson commented. "Was it luck?" Crawford turned back to the group. "Or was it inevitable?" "Explain." "Think about it. We hold Iron Crucible every year. We gather elite units from across human space to train together. If aliens were going to attack Earth's frontier, they would almost certainly encounter one of our training exercises eventually." Petrov nodded slowly. "You are saying that our military doctrine makes this sort of encounter likely?" "Exactly. Human space is full of military exercises. We train constantly, in realistic conditions, with live equipment. Any alien species that tries to attack us will probably run into professional soldiers during training." Colonel Harrison smiled. "That's an interesting observation, Major. I'll include it in my report to Earth Command." "Speaking of reports," Chen said, "what do we tell people about today?" "The truth. Earth made contact with an alien species. They proved hostile. Human military forces successfully defended against their attack and captured significant intelligence assets." "And the fact that we thought it was just training?" Crawford laughed. "That's the best part of the whole story. We were so prepared for anything that alien invasion felt like routine." Over the next 3 days, the extended Iron Crucible exercise became the most intensive learning experience in human military history. Teams of specialists studied every piece of captured alien technology. Linguists worked with prisoners to understand Kethtar language and culture. Tactical analysts reviewed combat recordings to identify alien weaknesses. The results were both encouraging and sobering. "The good news," Morrison reported during the final briefing, "is that human military doctrine is effective against alien tactics. Our adaptability, teamwork, and terrain knowledge gave us significant advantages." "The bad news?" Harrison asked. "Their weapons technology is superior to ours in several key areas. Energy weapons, defensive shields, and faster-than-light travel all exceed current human capabilities. But we can capture their equipment," Chen pointed out, "and we learn fast." Crawford consulted his final report. "Recommendation: accelerate military research programs focused on energy weapons and defensive systems. Increase frequency of joint training exercises. Establish first contact protocols for future alien encounters." "And the prisoners?" "They've been surprisingly cooperative. Turns out they respect professional soldiers. They're willing to share tactical information in exchange for proper treatment under our military codes." Colonel Harrison nodded approvingly. "Excellent work, everyone. I'm proud of how you handled humanity's first alien contact." "Sir," Petrov asked, "what if they come back with a larger force?" "Then we'll be ready. Every military unit in human space will know about Kethtar tactics and technology within a month. We'll have new weapons, better training, and complete knowledge of their capabilities. Plus," Crawford added, "they now know that attacking humans means fighting professional soldiers who treat warfare like science. That knowledge alone might make them reconsider invasion." As the briefing ended and the officers prepared to return to their home units, Chen lingered in the empty room. She looked out at the valley where humanity had fought its first interstellar war. In 72 hours, 200 human soldiers had defeated an alien invasion force, captured advanced technology, and gained invaluable intelligence about a potential enemy. And they had done it all while treating the battle as an interesting training problem. 6 months later, when the Kethtar returned with a massive invasion fleet, they discovered that humanity had already reverse-engineered their weapons, adapted their tactics, and prepared counter-strategies for every approach in the Kethtar military manual. The second battle, lasted less than a day. The aliens never understood that attacking humans during a training exercise was like interrupting teachers during class. The students were always eager to learn. And the final exam was always comprehensive. Earth's military colleges would study the Iron Crucible incident for generations, not as an example of lucky survival, but as proof that proper training and preparation could turn any crisis into a learning opportunity. The official motto of the Solar Marine Expeditionary Force was changed to reflect this lesson: always ready to learn. Because in the vast galaxy full of hostile species, the humans had discovered something that gave them an unbeatable advantage. They were the only species that considered warfare to be continuing education, and they were very dedicated students.